What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we know that undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO reigning welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who's widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Terence Crawford, is taking Top Rank, ESPN, Bob Arum to court, and he's allegedly suing Top Rank, Bob Arum, and ESPN. Okay, more so Top Rank and Bob Arum, because Terence Crawford, who's 38 wins, no losses, no draws, 29 wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. The last time he fought was November 20th of 2021. When he took on and defeated two-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter. He beat Showtime Shawn Porter via 10th round stoppage victory. With that said, there has been a revealing of details as to why Terence Crawford feels the way he feels, and as to why Terence Crawford is essentially suing Top Rank Bob and Bob Arum. And he has revealed some very deep situations and details as to what actually takes place with Top Rank, ESPN, and Bob Arum. More so Top Rank and ESPN, Top Rank and Bob Arum. Okay, ESPN is the network and the company that Top Rank has a deal with. So it's not so much ESPN, but we know that there has been a reveal with Cameron Duncan, who stated that Top Rank has an NBF rule, and the NBF rule stands for no black fighters. Okay, and Terence Crawford, he reveals that in this contract, that if you're down to your last fight, and now we have some examples, but in the contract, when you're down to your last fight, Top Rank will put you on the shelf until you agree to sign an extension. If you don't agree to sign an extension, they'll sit you on the shelf. We saw examples of this. We saw example of this with Mikey Garcia, 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer. We know in this wordplay, Terence Crawford reveals and says Floyd Mayweather went through the same thing. And other fighters, because of a racial barrier, that Bob Arum just simply doesn't want to make certain fights. Again, that goes back to what was stated when he said they have the NBF rule. Okay, so with that said, Terence Crawford is saying on top of that, when you're down to your last fight, they'll shelf you if you don't sign an extension. So Terence Crawford, he reveals that he was mummed on the situation because he didn't want to put himself in a situation where he was shelved. Now, again, I completely don't agree with that because he was shelved anyway. Okay, he wasn't secure in the fights he was looking for anyway. That's the reason why Mikey Garcia went through a hiatus, because of his trying to get out of his contract with Top Rank and Bob Arum. Okay, so he sat on the shelf for some time. He lost some time in his career because of that, but ultimately he got out the contract in enough time where it allowed Mikey Garcia to still fight big fights. Mikey Garcia got out his contract before he was 34 years of age. Terence Crawford is 34 years of age, and he let the time expire opposed to fighting the contract. See, the difference between Mikey Garcia and Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford is that they decided early on in their careers to fight the contract and to get out of the contract. They didn't sit and continue to fight without and allowing them to, dictate what direction their career went in. So it makes you think. Former unified lightweight world champion superstar boxer Teofimo Lopez, he had an issue with the way Bob Arum, Top Rank, was handling things with his fight with George Kambosos Jr., who shockingly defeated Teofimo Lopez, right? But now keep this in mind. Bob Arum stated that he believed that George Kambosos Jr. and Teofimo Lopez allegedly colluded to be able to put themselves in position to get as much money as possible, because Teofimo Lopez cited and George Kambosos Jr. was his IBF, International Boxing Federation, mandatory challenger. Okay, now keep this in mind. He was Teofimo Lopez mandatory challenger. So Bob Arum, he wanted them to come to an agreement, Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos Jr. He wanted them to come to an agreement. If they couldn't come to an agreement, it was going to go to a purse bid. Okay, now let's keep this in mind. At the point it went to a purse bid, Bob Arum stated that he was aware that they were going to, that being Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos Jr., to allow it to go to a purse bid, not come to an agreement on their own, because they knew that they had an outside investment group that was willing to put up big money to be able to stage the fight. Okay, and so Bob Arum, he stated that, but Teofimo Lopez is still signed to me, Top Rank, and ESPN for the next 3.5 years. So he pulled this situation, this, stunt, and with George Kambosos Jr. But now after that, when he's looking to get big fights, let's see how that plays out. Essentially, Bob Arum, he let it be known that I'm going to shelf him. He said, I'm sure after this, he's going to look to fight Josh Taylor, undefeated, undisputed junior welterweight world champion, British superstar boxer. Teofimo Lopez was talking up a fight with him and Josh Taylor. So he stated that he's going to want to fight Josh Taylor. He's going to want to look to fight Lomachenko in a big rematch, big money fights. Let's see how that plays out after this situation with George Kambosos Jr., because they went to a purse bid. As Bob Arum stated, he believed that allegedly they colluded, to allow it to go to a purse bid, not come to an agreement in negotiations, and their outside entity will come in and put up big money that Bob Arum, Top Rank, was unwilling to put up. So when it went to a purse bid, it was Bob Arum, Top Rank, bid $2.3 million for the fight. Well, Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn and Doesnt, they came in and outbid Top Rank, $3.2 million. Bob Arum was highly upset that Eddie Hearn came in as a promoter and outbid them. He said, how dare Eddie Hearn involve himself in this? But unforeseen, Triller came in and bid $6 million. Clearly outbid everybody else. Okay? Clearly, by far. And so they didn't foresee that. So Bob Arum's thing was, he thought that it was going to be Eddie Hearn in the zone that was in Teofimo Lopez's and George Kambosos' ear, and let him know that whatever Bob and Top Rank bid, they're going to make sure they outbid them. But unforeseen, Triller came and outbid everybody with $6 million. So Eddie Hearn bid 3.2, just $1 million above Bob Arum's 2.3. Okay, but Triller came in and bid $6 million. Okay, and so with that said, shockingly, Teofimo Lopez announced, and Bob Arum announced, that Teofimo Lopez signed an extension that would see Teofimo Lopez face off against Vasyl Lomachenko in a highly anticipated rematch on pay-per-view in September, because initially the George Kambosos Teofimo Lopez fight was scheduled for June. So they stated that their first fight for Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko as a pay-per-view fight for Teofimo Lopez, the first pay-per-view fight for Teofimo Lopez is going to be in September in a rematch with Lomachenko. So that was scheduled to take place in September. But the initial fight with Teofimo and George Kambosos was scheduled to take place in June. So it would have gave room to September fight rematch, because Bob Arum looked at George Kambosos Jr. as a walk in the park. Now, what's interesting to note here is this, is that Bob Arum has another fighter that's very close to Terence Crawford under his banner, and he's having the same issues that Terence Crawford had. And now raise the question, because see, Teofimo Lopez, he signed an extension which was surprising because after Bob Arum made those comments, Teofimo Lopez, father, trainer, and manager Teofimo Lopez Sr., he stated that we're not going to allow Bob Arum and Top Rank to dictate which direction we go in. And so then, if that's the case, we'll go on our own. But then suddenly, shockingly, Teofimo Lopez signed an extension with Top Rank and Bob Arum. What's interesting about that is when Teofimo Lopez, now Triller dropped out the fight with Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos. Triller dropped out, which saw it go to the second highest bidder, which was Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and DAZN. Teofimo Lopez, during the press conference, fight week press conference, he talked to Eddie Hearn, and he told Eddie Hearn, for his fight with Vasyl Lomachenko, he got $650,000 is what he went home with. For a fight of that magnitude. That's all he walked home with. So Eddie Hearn said, okay, well, even if Bob Arum's not willing to put up the money, which is allegedly tampering, I would put up the money and make sure you're able to fight undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney, who signed to DAZN, well, not signed to DAZN, who has a partnership because Eddie Hearn works with DHP, Devin Haney Promotions, with father, trainer, manager Bill Haney. So Eddie Hearn said, I'll put up the money if he don't want to put up the money for a mega showdown between you and Devin Haney for Undisputed. Well, that would be tampering allegedly because Teofimo Lopez signed an extension with Top Rank Bob Arum. So that means it would have to go to, a purse bid or something. But how could it go to a purse bid if there's no, Devin Haney's not as mandatory? What leads you to believe that was never going to happen. But George Kambosos Jr. shockingly upsets Teofimo Lopez, wins a split decision, and George Kambosos Jr. is not signed to Top Rank. He signed to Lou DiBella. Okay, so George Kambosos Jr., he doesn't have to oblige Bob Arum or Top Rank or ESPN. He doesn't have an exclusive deal with them. So now we look at this. Shakur Stevenson is having the same issue with Top Rank and Bob Arum that Terence Crawford is having. Shakur Stevenson is one of the best fighters in the world. Shakur Stevenson is only 24 years of age. He'll be 25 in June. Shakur Stevenson, 17 wins, no losses, no draws. 9 wins by way of knockout. 24 years of age, 5'7" with a 68-inch arm reach. He just defeated Jamel Herring for Jamel Herring's WBO super featherweight title at 130, October of 2021. But Shakur Stevenson has been seeking out a fight, a unification bout, with Mexican superstar boxer, who's an undefeated 2-division world champion, who's also a super featherweight world champion, in Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez is 31 years of age, just turned 31 in December. 30 wins, no losses, no draws. 23 wins by way of knockout. 5'5" with a 66-inch arm reach. He just defeated Robson Casacia September of last year, and he had a controversy that surrounded him because he tested positive for a banned substance. But with that said, Oscar Valdez is on the way to fighting Emmanuel Navarrete, opposed to fighting Shakur Stevenson, because Bob Arum stated that he would much rather have Oscar Valdez fight Emmanuel Navarrete, who has to move up in weight because he's a featherweight. He's not a super featherweight. He's a 126-pounder. 35 wins, 1 loss, no draws. 29 wins by way of knockout. 26 years of age. 5'7" with a 72-inch arm reach. But he's a featherweight. He last fought October of 2021 as well against Joet Gonzalez, a guy that that Shakur Stevenson beat. Okay, and he got a unanimous decision. So with that said, they're waiting for Navarrete to move up for Oscar Valdez, as opposed to Shakur Stevenson getting the fight with Oscar Valdez in a massive unification bout where they're both signed to Top Rank. They're both signed to ESPN and Bob Arum. Easy fight to be made. Oscar Valdez, he stated he wanted to unify. Why isn't he getting his opportunity? So now it begs the question. Shakur Stevenson has a very, very close relationship to Terence Crawford. Now is Shakur Stevenson going to be looking to get out of his contract right now with Top Rank, Bob Arum, and ESPN? Or is he going to wait until it gets too thick and then he's shelved? See, right now, he's only 24, right? He's a world champion. He's not going to get the fight with Lomachenko, who stated that. So Bob Arum stated he wanted to make the Navarrete Oscar Valdez fight, and then he was going to make Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko. But Lomachenko has no plans to fight Shakur Stevenson. He stated unless Shakur Stevenson is moving up to lightweight 135, we're never going to fight. I have plans to unify this division. So who is Shakur Stevenson going to fight now? There's talks that Shakur Stevenson could possibly face Christopherlbert, but Christopherlbert is on another network. So Shakur Stevenson going to have the same issue that Terence Crawford had when it comes to, fighting fighters on the other side of the street. As I stated, okay, when you look at it, Terence Crawford, my only gripe with Terence Crawford is that he knew that Bob Arum, Top Rank, was the ones preventing him from getting the big fights, and yet Terence Crawford still placed blame on Errol Spence and placed blame on Keith Thurman. When Keith Thurman stated, give me $10 million or let's negotiate. Or Danny Garcia, let's negotiate a fight for Terence Crawford. And Bob Arum was unwilling to pay them or even negotiate with Keith Thurman for a big fight. So he knew. Instead, he said those guys on the other side are avoiding me. When he knew very well that they weren't avoiding him, that it was his situation with Bob Arum that was preventing the fight. Now, Christopherlbert is with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions. 16 wins, no loss, no draws. 6 wins by way of knockout. 25 years of age, 5'8", with a 71-inch arm reach. He just beat King Tug Nyumba, his last fight in July of 2021. Okay, he won a unanimous decision. So with that said, Chris Colbert is possibly going into a fight where he's going to look to pick up the WBA strap, the vacant WBA strap at 130 that was vacated by Gervonta Tank Davis, 3-division world champion superstar boxer. Okay, so with that said, Christopherlbert is looking to fight for the vacant WBA title, right? And so with that said, he and Shakur Stevenson have been talking up a possible future fight. But how is that going to happen if Bob Arum is going to be unwilling to play ball with the other side, like he did with Terence Crawford? And is Bob Arum going to suddenly, hold this against what Terence Crawford is doing, hold it against Shakur Stevenson? So in my opinion, I think it's time for Shakur Stevenson to look to part ways. I think it's time for Shakur Stevenson to look to get on out of there, because if this is the case, if Bob Arum going to, want to hold Shakur Stevenson accountable for Terence Crawford's actions, Terence Crawford is now a free agent. Terence Crawford doesn't have any responsibility or accountability. He doesn't have anything that's keeping him with Bob Arum and Top Rank. So Terence Crawford, he pointed this out as well. This is what Terence Crawford had to say, quote, Top Rank is a company with 0 black executives and only 2 or 3 black employees refuse to admit that they does not care about support of or nor have how to promote a black fighter. Shakur Stevenson is a close friend. Again, this is what Terence Crawford had to say. Top Rank is a company with 0 black executives and only has 2 to 3 black employees who refuse to admit that it does not care about, support, or nor do they know how to promote black fighters. Isn't that amazing? So is Shakur Stevenson going to be held accountable for what's taking place with Terence Crawford? It's time for Shakur Stevenson possibly to exit stage left, because Again, there is no way in the foreseeable future that he's going to get the Oscar Valdez fight. Let's see how this plays out for Shakur Stevenson. Also, you have Jared Big Baby Anderson, a heavyweight, upcoming heavyweight. Is this going to play a part in his career? He's close to Terence Crawford as well. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.